Welcome back to the project, renovating this 1857 Philadelphia row home. It's pretty crazy that it's already week 52, meaning it's been a whole year since I bought my first house. We've come quite a long way in just a year, from discovering the termites, realizing I had to tear down the back of the house, pouring new concrete for the foundations, and then framing it all back with a third floor addition. Even with all the work that's been done, we still have some major water issues that we're going to be resolving today. My main cast iron waistline is cracked and leaking everywhere. My main water supply line is made of lead. That's leaking too. The drain in the side alley is not functional because we need new concrete. So how do we fix these issues? That's easy. You just have to dig a big expensive hole in front of your house. Alright, I think my plumber Brad can probably explain it better.
Today what we got going on here, we have a water service being replaced from the back of the curb stop to the interior of the home. We also have a curb trap being brought in with the new main drain to connect to the inside of the work we already did. Roughly about 7 feet down for the sewer and about 4 feet down for the main. We don't have to break the street today, which is helping Chris out a little bit here. He has copper coming into the sidewalk, so he's good to go. Make sure we acquired all city permits and getting them done right today.
Thanks for the rundown, Brad. And what do we have here going on in the side alley? Well, to the untrained eye, it looks like a bunch of guys ripping up my concrete, and that's exactly what it is. They got lines tied off for the grading. Basically, everything under this overhang is still going to grade that way, but hopefully not much rainwater. And everything getting rained on here is going to drain down to this drain. And we took it out all the way over here too, so rather than the water coming down and riding the edge of the foundation, which this corner was always saturated, that corner was saturated, we're going to create a bit of a gutter here to get the water away from the house, around and into that drain. Last week we got this dehumidifier set up, and today's Monday and it's been running all day, and the basement has never been so dry. And the little bits of moisture, this was from when they were testing the plumbing. This cap was off and they were draining stuff, so that's new. And this moisture over here is just from when they were redoing the waistline here. This is what it looks like from the basement. We got this all filled with hydraulic cement and stone to patch together the foundation, and a new cast iron line sticking through, new trap, new vent. This connection right here is what was leaking terribly before, and hopefully it's not leaking anymore. Also, we have our new water line. The old one is coming through right here. They got a little patched. This water issue is resolved. They're wrapping up the concrete work in the drain, so that's getting resolved. And I really just can't express how excited I am to be done with this nasty humidity. And let me show you the reading on our thermometer here. If you remember last week, it was all the way at 100%. How beautiful is that? Well, hello there. Editing Chris here. I'm sure you're familiar with my Rowhome images that I've been using for the thumbnails of this project. I'm excited to announce that I have a gallery in Philadelphia. The opening reception is September 5th. It's at the Space Gallery in Philadelphia. It's on 8th Street in South Philly. You can find all the info below. I would love to see you there. I'm really excited about it because it's the first time the Rowhomes images will be featured in a gallery, and they'll be presented alongside my high-rise images as well. So save the date. I'd love to see you there. Let's get back to the video. I've had this hole in my floor for quite a while now. The reason was we ran out of this old pine flooring, so I tore it up on the third floor, patched it in with a little OSB subfloor, de-nailed the wood, cleaned the wood, and now the flooring guys are here to get it installed. Just like that, we got a floor again. I'm not gonna fall through to my ductwork. I'm really curious to see how this floor turns out when it's sanded and everything. It's definitely rustic. not perfect. There's a lot of little lips that we gotta do our best to sand down. Some I would like to be tighter, but all in all, I think it'll look fine. And I think the coolest part about it is just that it's the same wood. It'll match the other floor perfectly, and you know, tells the story of this old house. Speaking of old wood, got a whole lot of it. Throughout this whole project, I've been salvaging as much of the original lumber as I could, and the biggest issue is where to put it. But hey, that's what basements are for. So I moved it all down there, built a wood rack. That's a lot of wood. Then it got moldy because of the aforementioned moisture problems, so I moved it back up, and now we gotta move it back down there. Man, it feels like just 2 weeks ago that we were moving all this wood out of the basement, and now the wood's back in the basement. Yeah, deja vu. This old wood has moved around so much. You know, we have 3 big things that changed since the last time this wood was in the basement. We have our electrical, which means we can run a dehumidifier, a new dehumidifier, 24/7. It's working wonders. We have the drain on the alley, and we have the fixed supply over there. So now I'm pretty confident that the humidity will stay at bay down here, and I can store stuff down here for at least a little while. So that's a big win. Yo, Ty.
Hey, how's it going, dude?
Welcome to the project.
What's going on?
What's up, Jack? These are my friends Tyler and Jack from Axe Builders. If it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have the confidence to GC this project myself, and they've been a great resource guiding me along the way, and I've done a couple things for them in return.
Use your rough-in to ask as many questions as you can, just to get clarity, because they're going to set the expectation with you.
The next big milestone for the project is the rough-in inspection, which I've been getting ready for weeks now. So it was a great time to have Axe Builders stop by, walk through the house, and see if there's anything they can catch that might make me fail my inspection. Talking with these guys definitely calmed some of my nerves about the inspection, because it's just a lot of little things I need to keep in mind, like fire blocking, and I should be fine. It's great to get their feedback, because they go through this process who knows how many times per year, and they know what the inspectors are looking for. So let me show you a couple of the minor notes that I need to take care of before we get the inspection booked. On walls like this, where there's a cavity behind the studs, I knew that I needed to fire seal the top so fire doesn't get into the rafter bays, but I didn't realize that I need a vertical seal every 10 foot of wall section. So here I'll probably need to pack rock wool behind like the middle stud, one of those. One thing in this second floor bedroom, I was debating between conduit coming up with an outlet and conduit going down versus floor outlets, and they said they do floor outlets a decent amount, so I think it'll be a lot cleaner to put an outlet in the floor there, and probably we have an outlet on that corner, so probably one more on the floor over there. On the third floor and the second floor, I need to pack these edges where there's space between the stud and the brick wall, pack that with rock wool all the way down. Just all these kind of joints where fire and air can escape. I'll be honest, the past couple days have been really nice. I've been coming to the house, but I haven't been doing much work because I'm just supervising. Basically, I've been doing a lot of cleaning, a lot of moving material, but now it's just me, and I have a lot of things to get done. Renovating, you really appreciate the little things. Having a hose that works, incredible. There you have it. Just filled that in, and on the other side, working conditions are not ideal. You know, it's not perfect, but it's done. It's a lot better than before. My next job here is on the third floor. It's gonna be quite a challenging one. It's Just took a minute to get all of these loose bricks out, and some of them look like this. Not much of a brick anymore. And all of them were just loose. This is like the top corner of the party wall here, and it's gonna be really challenging to do this from here, but just barely possible because I can get mortar up in there and a brick just barely fits. So it's gonna be impossible to film this, but I'm basically gonna, get mortar all the way deep in here, place a brick, fill it all in, starting from the back, moving towards me, and hopefully just get this patched in. That was not an easy job, but I got it pretty much filled with bricks. I had to use my hands a lot because tools can't really get in there. But you can see we still have a gap up there. I also got some fire foam while it was all open, like deeper up into these rafters, and I'm just gonna finish this off with a little bit of fire foam. The one nice thing about this job was because it's open and there's a big heat differential from the colder outside and the hot third floor, I just felt cold air rushing in at my face that got less and less as I patched up the hole. Well, I have this foam out. I'm also hitting a couple of these spots where the wood meets the masonry and you can feel the air leakage. Let's check in with our list here. Hole in the brick on the third floor, dealt with. This one, prep for tile entry. I just put a piece of plywood down at the entry. I'm not gonna do all that until later, so we don't need to worry about that. Beam pocket masonry, complete. Got 2 things checked off our list. Now we just gotta clean up, get out of here. 3 for 3. Now that this concrete in the alleyway is done, I can finally take a look at fixing this issue. I don't know how it really happened. I didn't notice it when we did the formwork, but got a little hole, and under here you can see like the sill plate and the sheathing. So obviously we can't have that happening. Pests and whatever want to get in there. And plus, eventually I need to resolve this downspout to put it, into our drain here with probably like a flexible thing. But for now, if it rains, this is just gonna splash, right into the house and damage my wood here. So I think I'm gonna fix this the only way I know how, with bricks. Brick. Might be worth keeping. Boy, it's a lot of bricks. We got it done. No more hole in the side of the house. Kind of have low hopes of this holding up over time, but I'm curious to see, and if it does crack out, that's totally fine, and I'll try a different way, but part of the learning process here. We're taking a lot of time this morning to collect all the tools and bits and screws and getting them all in one place. And I haven't really showed you the contents of my cabinet here. I have a rough organization. I've got like bottles and fluids, spray foam, WD-40, glue, spray paint, all kinds of stuff. Then we have the tool shelf with a couple tools missing. I think my nail gun and sawzall are on the 3rd floor. And then we have the hand tools shelf, like hammers, pliers, brushes, tape over on this side. All my bits on this side, I got big like masonry drill bits for screws, drill bits for drilling into wood. We got little nuts, and look how rusted these things get just from the humidity. They're kind of ruined, but could still come in handy. Then this next shelf, we have blades for the angle grinder, metal, and masonry. And we have Sawzall blades in this container. We got multi-tool blades here, leftover bolts, and then this is my large collection of different types of screws, nails, nuts, bolts, all kinds of stuff. And finally, we have the sanding stuff and the PPE stuff and some tube that I never used. So we got to just keep going, keep finding all the tools and putting them in here. What's up, boys?
Young man,
Good to see you.
How are you?
Welcome to the house. Welcome to the project.
Congratulations.
Can I show you around real quick?
I'd love to, yes. I'd love to.
Cool.
Thank you. So I don't have a need for a truck whatsoever.
How much capacity do you have in the dumpster, you
We
think?
got plenty. I think we put some trash back in there. I mean, you can take a load there and
Okay.
see it. I'll leave you guys to it. Have fun.
That's my friendly neighbor Weiss, who just offered that I use some space in his dumpster and also use his truck for a Home Depot run. Shout out to Weiss and shout out to my neighbor Adam. All right, we got our Rockwool safe and sound insulation. This I'm just gonna rip up and stuff into any gaps that need to be fireproofed. But before we do that, we can use the truck to get rid of a lot of this waste in the backyard, which I've been eager to do. Whew. It is hot. I think it's like 96 degrees. And Morgan's gonna help get all this nonsense to the truck, which we have parked right outside. It always feels so good to get rid of waste. I'm excited. We got the truck filled up. I think we made a good dent. Now we got to drive the truck around the block and then unload everything we just loaded into a dumpster over there. And it is too hot for this. Got a bit sidetracked here. 2 different people came down into this basement and thought they smelled gas independently. I haven't noticed it, but it's enough to make me worried. I just have some soapy water here. I think I should be able to spot a leak. If you just soap up all the joints, if there's gas escaping, you'll see bubbles, is the idea. Well, I'm not seeing anything obvious. So I talked to the plumber. The meter is off. The main shutoff of the meter is off. Their 2 shutoffs are off. So if there is a gas smell, it's before that, which luckily is the gas department's problem. So I'm gonna give them a call and see if they'll come out to check it for a leak, because definitely want to take that seriously. When it might be a gas emergency, PGW comes quick. I just gave them a call. They said within the hour, and I think the truck's here. So it'll be nice to have some peace of mind. Hey there, man. Appreciate you coming out so quick. Yeah, come on in. There was an unusually high concentration of gas in my basement, but the weird thing was my meter wasn't leaking. They checked everywhere, so that leaves the neighbors. The house to the left of me has been vacant for 10 months, but I was able to get a hold of the owner and get in, and we did find a gas leak behind their stove. This house is essentially the mirror image of mine, and it's kind of cool to see the original stair layout and also just how much work needs to be done over here. We got the gas shut off in this house, which should have resolved the issue, but there was still gas leaking into my basement. That leaves the other neighbor. So the gas situation turned out to be a whole debacle. First they were checking my basement, but my meter's fine and they couldn't find where it was coming from. They did find a gas leak in the kitchen behind their stove, but it didn't seem like it was strong enough to cause the issues at my place. And then we started testing the other side, and it seemed like there's a gas leak probably in their kitchen next door too. So it's kind of crazy that it wasn't actually my gas leak, but it's gas leaking in from both sides, which is kind of terrifying. But shout out to PGW, because they came super quick. You know, any gas emergency, any leaking gas is a big issue. So I'm glad they're here to figure it out, and they're currently trying to get into the other neighbor's house, knocking and doing whatever they can, because we don't want gas leaking. So I think inspection's gonna happen. either late next week or the following week. I can't wait. I can't wait to get it over with. So thanks as always for watching. Catch you next week.